The Invisible Man is the newest adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel. So in this movie, Cecilia gets away from her abusive-ass boyfriend. He's a total asshole. He's a total dick. And then a few weeks later, he kills himself. But after that, she's being haunted by either his spirit or something. And she's making her seem like she's a crazy person, making her seem like she's fucking insane. And she's the only one that knows that she's being haunted by her ex-boyfriend. I want to say going in this movie, I only saw trailers. I kind of knew about the book. I knew it was good. I didn't really know much about it. But I saw the trailers, and to be honest, I wasn't very impressed at all. I actually thought they were kind of funny. I even think the title's kind of funny. I think it's a little cheesy. So I really had no expectations going this movie. I haven't read any reviews. I still haven't. I'm going to read reviews after this. But I went this movie no expectations, and I was very surprised. This movie is very impressive. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I think it's a really well-made movie. Right off the bat, they don't bullshit. The opening sequence in this movie is one of the most intense sequences in the whole entire film. They get right into it. There's really no long, drawn-out backstory. There's really nothing really to explain. You get the idea that Elisabeth Moss's character is being manipulated by this asshole guy. She's obviously traumatized by it. They don't bullshit. They cut right to it. First, I want to say Elisabeth Moss was brilliant in this movie. She was so good. This is why she's so good in *Handmaid's Tale*. It's why she's won 2 Golden Globes. She is so good in this movie. There are parts in this movie where she breaks down. She's frightened. I want to know how they filmed this movie, if they had someone there and she just was yelling at a random person, like freaking out, or if she had to act like she was fighting this invisible person. I don't know how you can pull off something like that. That's just brilliant. And there's parts of the movie where she seems schizophrenic, and it's frightening at points. And she does a really great job in this movie. And like the normal fashion of my reviews, I like to talk about the direction first. And this direction is really well done. Leigh Whannell directed this movie. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He did Upgrade, which I never saw, but I heard it was good. And in Insidious 3, I have no idea if that was good or not. But he does a really good job directing this movie. There's a lot of wide shots. There's a lot of sequences that are one long take. There's a lot of shots and sequences that are just drawn out. Sometimes they don't really lead to anything. And he does a really good job of creating the suspense, because obviously the movie's about an invisible person. You can't see the guy. It makes it even more fucking frightening. Even the scenes where really nothing's going on, everything's intense because you don't know where he is. And this guy's an asshole, like really. And the movie's pretty well written in the sense of how sequences are drawn out and how events pile on each other to make sure Elisabeth Moss's character just gets beaten. And this guy's doing such a great job making her seem like a schizophrenic maniac. You start really feeling for her. You feel so bad. You're like, you just want everyone to know that she's not actually crazy. She actually is seeing this invisible guy that's causing hell to her. And back to what I was saying about the sequences, there's one sequence where she's fighting the invisible guy, and it's like one long take, and I want to know how they pull this stuff off. It's like the magic of movies. I don't understand it. It was fantastic. It was awesome. And the movie goes ways you wouldn't expect it. I was genuinely shocked in a lot of moments. And the movie doesn't rely on just a bunch of gore and just a bunch of jump scares to get you really invested or really intense into the scene. That's what a lot of horror movies do today. They just want to do the jump scare, and they want to do the torture porn, they just want to do all that. This, yes, there's gory moments, but they're earned. They're not just there to be gory. It makes sense. And there are some jump scares, but they're limited. And like I said, the scenes are drawn out, and sometimes they don't lead to jump scares. They're just drawn out to nothing. And I really love that. Now I'll get into some quick gripes about the movie, because there's really not many at all. I will say, I did say there's not many jump scares, but in a movie about an invisible man that's a horror movie, there are going to be jump scares. And some of them were warranted. Some of them really weren't. There were some I just found a little unnecessary. I also think if you really analyze the plot and things that happen throughout the story, you can nitpick things, and there are some plot holes. Specifically with another character, I won't get into it. I thought his whole story was a little strange, and towards the end of the movie, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I thought some of the stuff didn't really connect and didn't really make sense to me. And then the ending, I think it's a good ending, but I think it could have been better. Me and my buddy talked about on the way home. There's one way they could have taken it that I thought would have been better. I thought would have been more fitting, and I think it would have just been an overall better ending. But then they chose is still fine. I think it works. I just think the other way would have probably been a little bit better. In the end, though, The Invisible Man was a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I did. The more I think about it, the more I like it. Elizabeth Moss was fantastic in this movie. Very great performance. This movie was very well directed. It looked like they really cared about telling a compelling story than rather just giving a cheap horror movie that'll come out in February. I'm going to give The Invisible Man an 8. I definitely think you guys should check it out. It is very interesting and, like I said, very well done. And I think, honestly, anyone could really enjoy this movie. I'm not really even a horror guy that much, and I was very, very invested in this movie. So, The Invisible Man, see it this weekend and let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and click here to see more of Davey Dave's Takes.